going to do an unboxing. And it's an HO unboxing, and it's supposed to be a very special locomotive and some passenger cars. Now, I'm going to use my trusty M1 World War II era, I believe, bayonet for this unboxing, and I'm sure it's dull, so we'll see how that works. It says 76 and a 3 on this side. It says 47 on this side. This is the original sheath, as far as I know. I do not see a maker's name on it. Oh yeah, I do. It says US M8A1 VP CO. Must be VP company. I don't know what that means. Perhaps a viewer does. Not very sharp. A darkened or blued blade. A release catch right here. So, I picked this up at a gun show about 30 years ago, just for the fun of it, because it was so inexpensive then. I'm sure it's very expensive now. At any rate, this is the first box. It came from Oklahoma, off of eBay. Let's see if this thing, this old dull bayonet, can cut through this tough tape. Let's see if I can do it without stabbing myself too. So far, so good. Part of the original packaging. I suppose it was cut in half. I don't know if the original, well, let's see if we get it open first while we talk about it without me cutting myself. I should have used the pocket knife. Last time I used that case knife and it slit right through this stuff so easy. Maybe I've got a knife in my pocket. Yes, I do. What is this? It says Ranger on it. Troy, USA. I think I got this from the NRA one year. That. Well, you know, I don't know, there's a ton of tape on this thing. I can't complain because it's well protected, but I would just assume I have so much. Here we're beginning to see what it is. And it is an articulated AHM steam locomotive. And I believe it's an old one. Actually, years ago, back in the 1960s, I went to the St. Louis Railroad Museum, which then was on the west side of the Mississippi River in St. Louis. And they had a locomotive like this on display. The one they had was Norfolk and Western. This one, I believe, is Pennsylvania, but it may be the same locomotive. And I remember standing next to that and how huge these drive wheels were. Like my height, basically. And in those days, the trial lawyers hadn't put the fear of God in everybody, so you could actually climb up on these things, which was fun. And so I wanted one ever since because of that one. But back in the day when AHM started making these things, I was so much into Lionel that I didn't want to spend any money on HO then. Probably a mistake. But this stuff's still affordable. And you can still get it. And there's a lot of good stuff on eBay and other places. Well, I'm wrong. It's not Pennsylvania. I thought it was. It's Baltimore and Ohio. Which is okay by me. just so I have a nice locomotive. Now I can tell you that this is very light. It has a KD coupler on it. There's a Tuscan colored walking area, little rails. It's very fragile looking. It looks like it has metal wheels. Now what I would like to do if I wanted to do anything to this is maybe add some weight to it. It's got a pin for the drawbar, so we know how it goes onto the locomotive. This is the box it came in. 2880 Mallet, Baltimore, Ohio. 5093-02 is on the lid, and $115 is what this says it sold for, in some odd cents. And then on the back of the box, there's a lot of good looking stuff that you might want to buy. In other words, the box also serves as a catalog. And then we have, fortunately, the instructions that go with it. How to service it and that sort of thing. A little, I guess it's a little history. I think it's a little late to send in the manufacturer's registration, so I don't think I'll do that. I don't know what would happen if you did send such a thing in. I don't even know if they're still there. Now this, I think this has got a second page, but if it does, my fingers don't seem to want to find it. And then we have the valuable parts sheet. And it tells you on the back how to order these parts. And there's a lot of parts, as you can see. A lot of parts. So the next problem I have is, without the aid of a 7-year-old, I've got to get this thing on the track. By the way, this little HO layout is located in my daughter's old bedroom. She stays here occasionally. On our other channel, called the Metal Sharks, which is our metal detecting channel, she goes by the name of Seagal. And she made these little buildings out of wood. Here's an example of one she made. So most of the buildings that are on this layout, not all of them I guess, but most of them were made by her. And while we're on that subject, somebody gave me these, and I like them because they're portable. And on some of them they were bald, and I put the trees on in order to make them look better. All right, without a 7-year-old, we are going to try and put this on the track and see if it runs. I like the little bell that's on the front here. As you can see. And there's no cab decal because that's where the motor is. You can see the brushes in there. I suppose you could get at the brushes from here if you had to. Well, let's see what happens. If I counted right. Sounds like it's all there now. It has the KD coupler, right? Well, it's moving, folks, and it stopped. There it goes. Goes slow. That's full speed on this antique auto rectifier Model 2 throttle pack that I have. The headlight is red, you can see it. I'm really surprised at how slow it goes. And I don't even have the pulse on. I'm going to put the pulse on and see what happens. The of course it goes even slower. Now I like the fact that this creeps along like that. A big old thing like this shouldn't be run too fast anyway, I would say. So I'm going to take it out of bolts now. I'm going to bring it to a halt and see if it'll reverse okay. It did. It reversed. I love this thing. Really nice. Except it's stopped on a dead spot. So now I have to walk over there, if I can reach it, and give it a poke. I think I'll poke it with the bayonet. There it goes. I guess we have some dirty track over there, folks. Have the right couplers on them. Here's one that somebody did custom made. I bought it at a train show. And it's a nice little caboose. Atlantic Coastline. And then here's one I built years ago, back when you could buy these at the hobby shop. It's probably Silver Streak. It's made out of wood with metal castings. Minneapolis and St. Louis. There's the brake wheel on that end, the ladder. And then we have a Lackawanna. And I usually use the old blue box cars, and I upgrade them with metal wheels, so the Proto 2000, or in this case, these are Wallers with the pointed axles. They work great in the Athearn trucks. This one is Maine Central. I'm partial to the Maine railroads because my ancestors came from Maine, and as a matter of fact, my direct ancestor, Lemuel Jackson, and his sons founded Paris, Maine. They started there before the Revolution, got interrupted, of course, and had to come back and finish the job. Gulf Mobile in Ohio, one of my favorite railroads. All these cars that I work on anyway are generally weighted. Actually, I weigh them down more than the NMRA standards because I like heavy cars. This one here is an Athearn blue box auto rack. And it has these little H O automobiles that they sold at Walmart 10 or so years ago. And I don't know why this doesn't want to stay on the track. It doesn't like this switch for some reason. And I'm going to leave it off for now until I figure that out. But those little cars are nice, but I don't think they're available anymore. I notice when it backs up, the light, if there is one in the tender, doesn't light. Well, the Katy couplers didn't join like I hoped they would. And it definitely has a hesitation in it before it wants to get going, so it probably needs lubricating. But just wants it running. There we go. So there she is, folks, pulling her first freight, and it sounds like something's off the track. We'll see if the re-railer fixes that when it goes through one. It bounced through there and it seems to be on the track now. I think the switch over there put it back on the track for me. This thing will really throttle down nicely. Just creep along like a modern locomotive. All right, well, we're going to unbox this one now. We have here a very nice looking Southern passenger car. Which I will set down. And it has Katie couplers. The box doesn't say, well, yeah, it has something on the end. Let's see what it says on the end. Southern Coach 832, branch line trains, made in the USA. Silver with black lettering. And now let's see what the Concore looks like. The white box. This one says it's unlettered. Let's see if that's true. Well, it is true. It's an observation with a dome on it and the roof popping off. You can see where it snaps on. It has very cheap, lightweight trucks, so I'm going to have to upgrade this one. And it does not have an interior or lighting. So, if that's Concore, I thought it would be better quality than that. It looks more like an Athearn to me. Last, we have another box that says Concore on it. Not much information on the end flap, but it's Southern. Once again, it has these cheap trucks. It says, made in Austria. And there's no indication of who the manufacturer is. But I can say this car is much better than these other two. This does say Concore and made in Austria on it, so I guess they are Concore. Now this is a nice car. And it's got some weight to it. I really do like it. Look at how well it rolls. Well, my engine is passing by now. This has an interior too. Don't think it's illuminated though, unfortunately, but it seems to have everything else. Let's take off the caboose. Put the Concore on the tail end of this train. I got interrupted by a phone call, which came in before I could hook this car up. It looks like it's going to be a close coupling passenger car, and it doesn't seem to, although it has a coupler on there, it doesn't want to join to this one. It's not the same height, even though I use the coupling gauge. Well, I'll work this out later, but look at that, it rolls so free. Very nice. Well, that concludes the unboxing. I know this is a long video, and I'm sorry about that, but it was fun. This definitely is a keeper. These two will probably be disposed of at some point. Sell them on eBay, and because I don't think I want to put the money into upgrading them. Hope everybody is getting ready for Christmas and having a very good Advent in preparation therefore.